Welcome back, mamas. Y'all, today we are going to be talking about pausing. As moms, I know that word might even just give you a little bit of shudder. You're just like, oh my gosh, pausing. I don't have time to pause for anything. And I'm going to talk about why this is so important that we do this and how you might incorporate it into your day, into your life, and what impact it can have on you. So let's get to it. Do you wish you had control of your days, that you had a rhythm, but instead feel overwhelmed, scattered, and like there's never enough time? You're in the right place. I'm Danielle, a recovering workaholic, wife, and stay-at-home mom of 2 girls. I've learned how to reclaim my time and find purpose and freedom so I can be present with my kids and feel like myself again. Here, we embrace where we are, but we don't stay there. So if you're ready to trade the chaos for clarity, the guilt for grace, and the endless to-do list for aligned flow, grab the kiddos a snack and toss in that laundry because I know you're multitasking, and let's do this because your time, your purpose, and you matter. Okay, mamas. So as you may have heard, I said we are going to talk about pausing. Pausing is something that is super hard for me. I have always said that I am not a patient person, and I have learned so much patience with my children. And as moms, we might have as much patience in the world. We might have a lot of patience. You may have way more patience than I have. However, this isn't necessarily just about patience. It's not about just pausing. It is about like actually taking a minute for whatever it is, right? For yourself, for a reflection, for a time so that you do not respond in a way that you do not want to. I have been reminded just recently, like many, many times, how important pausing is and how counterproductive. I don't know what the word is that I want to say here, that it feels so foreign to me, right? It feels like a foreign concept. It is super hard for me to pause. And I don't think I'm alone in this. I do not believe that I am alone in this. I know that like my ADHD brain is completely always on the go, go, go. And I want to be on the go, go, go. And I think that in today's day and age, we live in a time where everyone is always going, 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 right? That busy is like worn as a badge. We're all so busy. And it is not something that I think that we are meant to be, is busy, right? But we tend to find ourselves something to do all the time to keep ourselves busy. And it prevents us from pausing, from reflecting, from enjoying our life, from being present with our kids, right? It keeps us from being present with ourselves a lot of times. And this is something that is so dangerous to our mom lives, right? Like to what we truly want from our life as a mom, from our what we're role modeling for our children, what we want to teach them in this life, right? Is not all about striving, right? It's not all about that, yet that's what we find ourselves doing a lot of the time. So I'm going to read a quote here. This one is from Robert Poynton, and it says, "Without pausing to reflect, we risk being swept along by habit or inertia, doing what's most at hand rather than what's truly important." If we don't pause and reflect, we risk being swept along. This is what I've been talking about, right? I've been talking about prioritization and purpose and all of these things for the last few weeks. And it is really hard to not just be swept along with habit, right? Or inertia, which is just like what everyone else is doing, right? What we're used to doing, our habits, without pausing to reflect, right? Because we are doing what's most at hand rather than what's most truly important, right? When we don't take the time to figure out what is truly important to us, then we are going to just be swept along. We are just going to be going by habit or inertia, right? And when we take the time to prioritize what's important to us, to pause, to reflect, to really get still and get clear about what we want in our life on the daily, right? We don't feel like we can even pause. At least I know for me that I don't feel like I can pause and reflect. Like I don't know what it is about my nature, my personality, whatever that I am one of those people who I just react, right? Like I'm one of those people who they say might not have a filter, right? Like sometimes when I think things, they just come right out of my mouth. And I have a hard time controlling that. Now, over the years, I've gotten much, much better at it, but I still find that it is so important to pause for a second, to reflect, to really think about what you're about to say or what you're about to do or what you're about to encounter, right? Than it is to just jump into it, right? Now, there are many times when we as moms have to jump into action, right? We don't have time to pause and reflect. And it's not always needed, right? But in a lot of circumstances, it is something that we should be doing so that we can be more present, so that we can be more pointed in what we want to say, right? Like if we just react out of anger or frustration or, just in the moment, the heat of the moment, out of emotion, rather than actually thinking through how we want to deal with a certain situation, then it can affect us. It can affect our children. It can affect our whole day. Because once we have gone there, once we get so frustrated, once we get so overwhelmed, and once we act out of frustration or anger or overwhelm, then it's hard to reel it back in, right? But if we pause and reflect, then we can act in such a way that is more in line with how we would want to act, right? Or how we would want to react. And pausing and reflecting can also be something that we do not just in the moment, but it can be something that we do like at the beginning of our day to pause and reflect on what we want for our day, our intentions for the day, thinking about what's important to us for that day, the things that we want to prioritize for the day, right? There's so much good that can come from pausing and reflecting, or just pausing and taking a minute to look internally on what you want for your day, for your life, for that moment, right? This is something that we, I believe, as a society, don't do enough of anymore. And especially as moms, it is so important to do that because not only will it affect us, but it will affect our children, right? And it will wind up affecting our day and how our days go. So I want to read one more quote from Mark Twain that kind of is on this same subject. And it says, "Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect." Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, he says. Now, I take that to mean because we are living in this day and age where everything is go, 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 and everything usually is all about what you're doing, your achievements, what you have. Like the side of the majority is sometimes a dangerous place to be because we are worried about keeping up with the Joneses. We are worried about being busy. Our achievements are something that we tend to put all of this stock in instead of pausing and reflecting and thinking about what is important to us. What are our priorities? Not what are everyone else's priorities, not what is the majority doing, not what is everyone else, doing this weekend or this day or with their life, right? Because we can get caught up in all of the things of this world and not get what we actually want to out of our own life because we're so caught up in the doing instead of caught up in the being who we want to actually be. I hope that makes sense. So Mark Twain, I believe, this was like long before the days of the internet and instant gratification probably had a different, meaning back then. But he was wise beyond his years when he said, when you find yourself on the side of the majority, and this is what we see on social media, on advertisements, on television, it is everywhere that you have to live a certain lifestyle in order to be successful or in order to be doing well or, like having what you want to have in life. And really, if we stop to think about it, the things we want to have in life are most likely not things. They are most likely going to be more important to you than that. They're going to be a deeper thing than just things, right? They're more about the memories and creating, things that you want for you and your family. And so that is what I want you to pause and reflect on, right? Okay, I want to read one more quote here by Albert Einstein. And this says, "He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. His eyes are closed." Okay, I'm going to read that one more time. Albert Einstein, right? Very smart man. "He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. His eyes are closed." Our eyes are closed so often because we are not taking the time to pause, because we are not taking the time to stand and wonder, right? To stand in awe of what we have created, right? We have these amazing miracle children, right? They are miracles. They are walking miracles. And we don't stand in awe of them nearly enough, or in awe of nature, in awe of this world and what is all in it. And a lot of times we have our eyes closed because we are going. When we take our time to pause and to live in the moment and to be present with our kids and to enjoy the small moments in the day to day and to really get still and get clear about what is important to you and why that is, so that you don't have to be striving, so that you don't have to be caught up in that life of we always have to be getting more, more, more. Now, I know you may want more for yourself, and that may be something that you're feeling pulled to and called to, but what does that mean? Right? Like, what does that more mean for you? Because I know for me, it didn't mean necessarily like all the things. Like, the reason that I wanted more was for our life, right? It was about what was important to me and what I could enjoy with my family. But like striving and going and being busy and doing all of these things was not creating that. Right? It wasn't until I took the time to get still and clear on what was important to me and what was important to my family and what was it that God wanted for me that I really was able to feel fulfilled in my days and to enjoy my life and to be present in the moment with my kids and with my actual self. Like, it is really hard to be present with yourself if you never pause and reflect. And that is something that may sound, corny even or really strange, but sometimes you're lost in the doing that you forget who you are. Right? You forget what you want. You forget what's important to you. You forget who God called you to be. And I believe you are called to more. And I believe that it's okay to want for that more, right? But the more that we want is not necessarily what we're seeing in this world. And so if we don't take the time to pause and reflect on what is actually important to us, and who God says we are and what we want for our life and for our family, then that is when we get into this like rat race, right? That's what they call it, the rat race, right? And we get into this trap. We fall into this trap of wanting more, and it's more in the form of like stuff or more doing or being busy, and it creates this feeling of emptiness, right? This feeling that we don't have enough. But when you pause and you're in the moment, you're appreciating what you actually do have. And you don't want more because you don't feel like you have enough. You want more so that you can produce more for others, so that you can give back, so that you can fulfill yourself, yes, and your children, yes, but also so you can be a bigger contribution, right, to this world. I know that's the way it was for me. And so that is what I want for you. And that is what we do in my coaching program. If you are interested in leaning into this and figuring out how to pause for yourself, I would encourage you to take these pauses, even in the moment, even if it's just for a minute, right? Even if it's just for a few seconds, to really think about and to be present in your moments and to be present with your feelings and check into how you're doing before you respond to something. Just start there, right? And if you want to do the work to get deeper and clearer and get still and figure out what is important to you and why, and do this on a more granular level and do this so that you know for your life what is important to you and what are the next steps that you want to take, and how do you pause so that you can enjoy your life, so that you can feel fulfilled, and what would that look like for you? So if you would like to do that work, I would love to help you with that, because I have a kind of a roadmap for you to walk through with yourself, and I will do it with you. And it starts with scheduling a prioritization clarity call. So if you would like to do that, please go to prioritizewithpurpose.com, prioritizewithpurpose.com/coaching, and sign up for a prioritization clarity call. You can also go there and schedule a free discovery call if you have any questions that you would like me to answer. I am happy to do that before you schedule, but I would love to hear about it if you do start to pause and take things in and really think about what it is in your life that you can appreciate, and also what it is that you want more of in your life and what is important to you. Okay. So until Thursday, y'all, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Mama. If so, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and then hit share and send this to a mom who needs this in her day. I'll meet you right here on Thursday. Keep smiling, y'all.